Hello everyone, this is a Kafka skill channel. That channel you can learn and improve your knowledge about Apache Kafka. Let's introduce you what Apache Kafka means from the Kafka administration perspective, but it's good to understood a little bit how the Kafka, what the purpose of the Kafka. So Apache Kafka is open source distributed event streaming platform used by thousand of companies, right? It's not only one company, but a lot of companies use Kafka nowadays. You can open the official documentation here. You can see a lot of companies use Apache Kafka, right? It's not something new. Basically, this distributed streaming event platform created in 2011 by engineers at LinkedIn. Okay, so Kafka will operate with round bytes, allowing you to render data from any service without being tied to specific protocol. So you can, it's basically round byte, right? So why the name? Why Kafka, right? Interestingly, is something perhaps Kafka was a name after the writer Franz Kafka. I think the engineers apparently like his work and use the name. That's it. So let's understand a little bit a use case in the real world to adopting Kafka. So many large companies, right, include this bank companies and other different companies, Datadog, another in we have a lot of use case. You can start to in the channel. The idea is us try to introduce to you some different use case for Kafka, show some command lines, so how you can use, how you can improve from the admin perspective, right? So let's go. Kafka is basically a streaming platform, so you can get information from data ingestion. For example, we use Kafka Connect, another thing, another tool you can talk about. You can have API log files sent to one platform, in this case Kafka, right? And users can use it, and everything can use Kafka like a middleware system. And so it's a let's understand a little bit more how this works, why Kafka, what's its Kafka, and what is Kafka is not. So basically, Kafka, it is a fault tolerant platform, right? So is that for data transfer, is guaranteed delivery of giving at least once. It's reliable, storage, persistent, and durable. Is an open source code. So basically, this is a big resume how to understood what is Kafka, right? And so what's Kafka is not, right? So this is this tool that cares about who. Kafka doesn't care who you will produce or consume, right? It's not a queue. Very important. Kafka is not a queue. It's not of a single company. So we know, for example, is Confluent is the primary company that develop things in Apache Kafka, but we have a lot of other companies that maintain the project. Is not slow, it's very fast at the 10 milliseconds, right? And this is not a smart tool. Sorry, it's not a smart tool. So let's understand a little bit more. Some purpose for Kafka. Pub sub, right? So you can write and subscribe and read streams of events. You can process, long process in real time, and you can store messages for a predefined. You can use a retention predefined time that you want to save your data in Kafka. This is a kind of configuration you can do, right? So let's talk about the APIs in Kafka. So Kafka has 5 APIs: the producer, consumer, admin streams and connect. So basically, this is the API we have for Apache Kafka. This is one of the things, if you want to start to learn about Kafka, what is the primary and links I can recommend you? So this developer from Confluent, this site, it's really, really nice. You can, open this one here. Let's jump to this website quickly. So you can have some things to learn, blog posts, a lot of things. I recommend you please take a look to all these videos, and I strongly recommend you if you want to take your Kafka administration certificate, start to learn from this website here. So another thing is documentation, right? This we need to know things about documentation, right? Read documentation, yeah. And we have another thing. So docs, yeah. We have two different documentation for open source project. This is a Kafka documentation open source from Confluent. So it's very complete documentation, right? And I can recommend you this book. The last version is 2021. You can download free from the Confluent website. You can just Google it and download this one. If you can read this book, it's you can take your Kafka administration certification, right? Stream Easy Operator is good to know because they talk about Kafka. Stream Easy basically is the open source project to deploy Kafka over Kubernetes, right? And Red Hat have IMK Streams brokers. So actually, Stream Easy and Red Hat IMK Streams is basically the same thing. If you, as far as remember, the engineers from this project, from the Stream Easy, works on Red Hat. So this is the links I can recommend. Please take a look. It's the things that you need to know to start to do your research. So let's understand a little bit more. What is the producers, right? The producers basically is the application that send data for Kafka. They send the message or the event to Kafka. Producers optionally expect to receive a Kafka acknowledge or not acknowledge. You can configure this if it's a synchronous or asynchronous configuration, right? You can guarantee that the message is really right to the Kafka brokers. The servers, the name of the servers in Kafka is brokers, right? So, and the consumers, what the consumers means. A consumers is an application that feed data in Kafka. So consumers is the application that will go to Kafka to fetch the messages to consume the messages, right? Periodically make a pool to fit more data, and the consumers are organized into groups. It's important concept here. We go deep more with this concept in the group, rebalance, etc. But just to remind and start here. Many consumers can consume the same data at the same time, right? So you have a lot of consumers to consume the same data. So it's not one consumer per topic. The other thing we will explain, but consumers are organized into groups. So I can have one consumer inside the same consumer group. A lot of consumers inside the same consumer group, right? And that's it a little bit about the consumers. So basically, this is the first introduction I want to give to you. Basic concept, right? Very introductions here. This is first videos is just to introduce you about important some basic things about Kafka, the history of Kafka, and that's it. Let's go and move to another video. And the next video, I will explain a little bit more about Kafka, and we'll go grow up together and learn more and start to do some troubleshooting, some code, how you can install Apache Kafka, how you can prepare your environment to Kafka and production environment, right? So that's it